No, I got a message.
Oh.
Because I'm so popular.
Nice. Must be nice.
It is, actually. Thank you for saying that.
What's not nice is stepping on the same wet spot on the very top of our stairs every single day.
It's only been like 2 days.
You put on...
One day.
Oh,
it happened yesterday.
Well, no, it didn't. It happened the day before yesterday.
It happened Thursday?
Yeah, it happened Thursday. And it's one thing if that's an area that'd be like a corner of a room. That you're
it's
like,
never a corner of the room. It's always the place where...
It's the most trafficked area.
Yeah. Well, that's how it always is. Or like the most...
Why don't you tell people what you did? what your sins are before the people?
Nothing.
Straight to the point.
I have no idea what happened. I blacked out.
You blacked out. You're carrying everything in this house.
Listen, I'm a mother. I multitask.
Oh.
And this particular time, it didn't work in my favor.
I'm going to start doing that. Like anything I do wrong, like, listen, I'm a father. It means nothing.
First and foremost.
It means nothing when you start that.
So I had Harper in my arm and I was carrying a cup of coffee and her bouncer.
And where were you going? Where were we going? Oh, upstairs. Up a set of stairs.
Which is fine. It'd be much harder if I was going down the stairs.
It would be fine for an average coordinated person.
Which I am.
No, you're not. You're so sub-average for coordination. And I don't think it's athletically. I think athletically you're very inclined. Like, you're good at throwing a ball. You're good at...
I'm very clumsy.
But as soon as like concentration is out of the equation, it's...
Intentionality, maybe.
Yeah.
And I was walking up the stairs, and this is what it was. I was wearing slippers, and that was my mistake. If I wasn't wearing
slippers... What did the slippers do to you?
Well, because I was walking up, it like hit the landing.
Okay.
So it hit the tread.
So you didn't raise your foot high enough.
Yes.
So it's not
because I was wearing a slipper. It was a slipper's fault. I threw them away.
Did you really?
No. Stupid slippers.
You cleared 15 steps before this issue arose. The 16th.
Please let me blame the slippers.
No, we can't. And of course you spilled. I think he's playing on the shelf next to it. We're looking at the nanny cam. That's why she's laughing.
I thought that was his face for a second.
No, that's his elbow. No. And you spilled the coffee at the very top of that landing, all over the carpet. Which is
so annoying because it's like, why couldn't I have done it on the wooden steps where I could just wipe up the coffee? No, it had to be at the landing of the stairs where...
Oh, the brand new carpet that we put in.
Brand new carpet where it's the highest trafficked area all over. It's like a 2 foot. It was like a 2 foot by 2 foot.
You can say 2 square feet.
2 square feet. Sorry.
You could say 2 square feet by 2 square feet.
I don't know geometry.
Or you could say total. Well, you could say total 4 square feet of an area.
Yes, what he said. Of space where the coffee landed. In fact, luckily the coffee was not hot because it got all over Harper and it got all over me and all over the bouncer, as well as the carpet.
On Harper?
Yes. No, it was just like her hair right here. It wasn't hot. It was because I'm a mother. Don't hide
behind
because I'm a mother and I can never finish my coffee.
No, listen. You don't stop. People need to stop hiding behind that. Like, how come you don't have any hobbies? I'm a mother. How come you're carrying so many things? I'm a mother. How come the house is not clean? I'm a mother. How come you don't put out anymore? I'm a mother. Like, stop hiding behind that. I'm gonna start doing that. You'll be like, why don't you get a job? I'm a father. Or being lazy day. I'm a father.
Yes.
So that's not the case. It's the same thing like when we tell Beckham to get his like stuff out of the car, like that he takes out of his backpack, and he's annoyed that he has to take multiple trips, so he takes everything together. So what he's gonna say? I'm a son.
Yes.
No. And what's annoying is that spot is a spot that every time I'm in the house and I'm doing construction in the house and I have to like run on a very rare occasion with my boots on that are clean but still run through them. That's the area that I step around because I know it's the most highly trafficked area, and our last carpet there was so destroyed that I didn't want to contribute to that cause again.
Or you lay like towels out, which
I did. I have. Yeah. So again, that's another thing. Yeah. It's like I've been so careful to making sure this highly trafficked area, and then you just had to carry everything in this house, including our daughter and a cup of coffee.
It was bad
because you're a mother.
I'm a mother.
Because you're a mother.
Well, in this particular instance, me never finishing a cup of coffee worked in my favor because
if you finished a cup of coffee, you would have to bring coffee with you upstairs. What do you mean?
No, I mean it wasn't hot because it was just left out, and I was like,
no. What would have helped is if you finished your coffee downstairs and didn't have to bring your coffee upstairs.
Listen,
I'm a mother. I get it. Okay.
I can't be perfect like you.
But people can try.
I've been trying for 8 years. But now it's taken 2 days of me trying to clean it out using everything I could Google to get coffee stain out. And still, I feel like it's every time it dries, you could see.
I feel coffee stains
is the worst. It's worse than wine. It's
worse than wines, but I think it's I would getting any kind of stain out of a rug. It's like one of those. Everybody has their own personal input on it, kind of like a sick remedy. So if you're sick, everybody's like, what you need to do is you need ginger, you need lemon, you need tea, you need a glass of red wine, you need to bundle yourself up in a blanket, let your temperature rise, and sweat this thing. Everybody's got their own remedy, and I think getting stains like coffee and wine out of things, everybody's got their own remedy. Like what you need to do is go to church, number one. Okay, you need all the good
pray
luck.
That coffee, pray real hard that stain gets out.
You need to clear your soul.
Well, it's kind of annoying because now I'm like crap because
if we can't sell this house because of
that, we've been trying to sell our house.
We're not trying ourselves. We haven't tried.
I mean, we're gonna. Yeah. So it's annoying.
Is that a good segment? Should we talk about the house that we just saw? Our first showing that we saw?
Yeah.
We had our very first showing.
Not of our house. We were looking at a house.
Yeah.
It was our first
we were shown a house for the very first time.
We were shown.
Yeah.
Yeah. We lost our never mind. The camera got turned.
You should turn that thing off.
Beckham.
We're right.
Well, I can turn it with my arrows. But anyway, I need to see what's going on. I'm a mother.
Oh, I heard. Oh, I heard.
So yeah, it was our first, and we haven't really been looking because we were waiting till the spring to even start looking because we weren't going to sell to the spring anyway. But this house popped up on the market. It wasn't even on the market yet. It was like coming soon. And our realtor sent me a link, was like, any chance you guys like want to see this or like this, anyway, she sent me the listing and it only had a couple photos of the house. It was mostly photos of the property.
Yeah.
And it looked awesome. Yep. It was like in a cul-de-sac. So it's like not in a subdivision. It's like in a old, like really pretty long windy road,
white picket fence kind of thing.
Yeah. And every house is like 2 acres or over 2 acres,
2 to 3 acres apart.
And each house is like super far apart from another. And then this particular house, they the listing showed that it was at the very end of the cul-de-sac. So it was in the cul-de-sac. And on top of that, it had like a private lane, a little private driveway where it was hidden.
Of bushes and
it was hidden.
So it curves around the corner, so you don't know
what the house even looks like. You can't even see the house in the cul-de-sac because there's so many mature trees.
It was like 25 yards of this driveway.
It's so cool. It was awesome. So like when I showed it to Alex, I was like, oh, looks awesome. It had like one picture of the house, and I don't think it was even the living room. It was just like maybe it was the master. I'm not sure.
I think it was the bonus room we saw.
Maybe the bonus room. Yeah, it had like 2 pictures of like, and they were like, you could tell just like iPhone pictures of the house. And so we're like, we should go look at it. It's coming soon. And then on top of that, our realtor told us that there was already a lot of interested people in this house, and it wasn't even listed on the market yet. So we went to go look at it yesterday. Yeah. And the property was, the land was awesome. The actual so it's 2.6 acres, I believe.
Yeah, it was a huge piece of property. I also forgot what 2.6 acres looks like.
It's a lot.
At first when you said 2.6, I was like, I wanted 3.
It's a lot, yeah. And it has a huge front yard as well as a huge backyard. So it's like
shop space too.
It's not just like 2 acres in the back. It's like 2 acres all around the house.
And the house is awesome. Like squared out in the middle kind of thing.
Yes. And then there's a big shop on it and like a whole area where you can have like animals if you wanted.
Or kids. So you can put
kids
there.
Yeah. With a fence.
Nice like electric fence.
Yeah. For sure.
for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then
And a trough for the
yeah,
kids.
Yeah. Of course, because we're not savages.
No, the kids.
We love our children.
Kids need to eat.
They need to drink. They need to eat.
Put a feeder out there.
Yeah. Then we walked into the house, and then we were like, and immediately I was like, oh no.
Imagine if like a person you've been talking to on social media and they've seen like we got catfished in a way. Like that's what I feel like. We were presented this particular look.
And it wasn't by a realtor. It was just because we hadn't hadn't posted any pictures of the house.
Posted a picture. So we Oh, okay. So actually I'll retract my statement a little bit. So because there was not enough pictures of the house, we couldn't make an accurate like picture of it. You know what I mean? So cool. We went, we saw it right out of the gates. Our biggest complaint was how small the inside of the house was.
Oh, yeah.
Though it was still only like 2,600 square feet, it was so, everything seemed cramped together. Like there's no one room that was bigger and then the other room. It's not like the master bedroom was, can we just leave that alone? It was, you don't know how to podcast, do you?
Listen.
I know, you're a mother. Yeah, you need to stop. Okay. It's every room, including the master, the bonus, was cramped together. Like the ceiling was low, the walls were closed in.
The rooms were small. Everything just seemed like
the office
tight.
was tiny, and I honestly, the living room, which is like the living room and the kitchen, is really the only thing that matters, right? Because that's where you really hang out. So it doesn't matter if the bedrooms are small. Mm-hmm. But even in the living room, I would have had to knock down 3 or 4 walls. Because there was like a formal dining room that was kind of built out, so I was like gonna knock 2 of those walls. Mm-hmm. I was gonna knock the wall that separates the living room and the kitchen, so 3 walls. I was gonna have to knock 3 walls out, and even then, it was still tiny. There was still
small.
There was still
and not
no
only
entrance.
that, but it was a weird angle to where you couldn't make it like where would you even put a TV? Where would we, even if you knocked that wall out, there wasn't enough space to even put like a sectional.
Yeah.
We have to put like chairs.
I was very optimistic when we bought this house, and you were not optimistic. So, and we've shared it before that you cried over this house. That
you really would like to remind people that, just in case you guys forgot. Yeah. Irina cried.
Hey, remember when she cried based off the house that made her famous on social media?
Hey, remember? Yeah.
Yeah, started her career.
I'm gonna remind you guys every episode.
Remember how this house that she cried about that she didn't want, but I wanted to get that started her career?
Yeah. This house. Okay.
Yeah, we all.
Anyway,
remember.
continuing.
Yeah.
I wanted to just make sure everybody remembered.
Yeah. It's like when you watch Game of Thrones and you're like season 4 and you're like in season 3.
Skip intro. Here's the intro.
So and even with that, I looked at it and I was like, there's not much I can do to make this work. And on top of that, it made me so happy to know where I was and where I am now when it came to making the decision, like of knowing what good bones on a house looks like. Like I think some people define good bones as like the foundation is solid, the walls are solid, there's nothing, no mold, no asbestos. To me, like good bones are like, what can we aesthetically, it's not appealing or functionally, but what can we remove to make it open up and grand without doing too much of structural change? And that house had to have the most, like I would say like comfortably like 60% of that house had to go.
Yeah.
60% of a house to go. That's out of this world. Like the amount of walls that I would have need to move out, that by that point you're like, you might as well only have just this piece of property for the property, and at that point it's so expensive.
I know, and it's like for the price, just to get it just for the property is a little bit much, but
right.
Yeah, it was like a good thought, and then when we walked in, it was I wanted to love it so much, and not just like not love it like, oh, it's the perfect house, but love enough the potential of it. Sure. And I could not.
I tried to convince myself. I almost tried to get in the situation. I was trying to convince myself, going like, am I being too harsh on this house? And then what I realized after stepping back for a second, going, oh, I think I'm trying to convince myself to like this house because I like the property so much.
Yeah.
Because the community was exactly what you wanted. The location was exactly what you wanted.
If we could find like just another house in that same neighborhood, it would be amazing.
Sure.
Maybe one will pop up, but it's a great
Right.
I did love that it was like in the actual cul-de-sac, at the end of the cul-de-sac. Not a lot of cars drive.
But
through there.
speaking of catfishing, so the professional real estate photography went out, I think today, you said, or last night.
Whatever. Yeah, last night, this
And
morning, maybe.
you pulled them up for me today, and folks, I swear it was like talking to a girl on social media who is just photoshopped all of her pictures, and then you got to meet her in person and are severely disappointed.
Yes.
Like what we're talking
Except
about.
for us, it was the opposite. Luckily, we got to see the house before the pictures, because if we saw those pictures,
we would have gone.
we would have still gone to see it.
Oh yeah, if I saw those pictures, if they were so deceiving, like these
deceiving.
The rooms were so stretched out to the point where you saw countertops and cabinets stretched out.
Yeah,
and it was
you
so
could
bad.
actually like see the actual doors,
Right,
like warped a little bit because
And-
it was such a wide angle.
Yeah, and
shot.
I even said this to you. I said to you, because the price was good, the location, the property was incredible, and I even told you, because how grand it looked on those professional Photoshop pictures, I told you, I was like, this looks like a house that I would have probably put an offer in sight unseen. Mm-hmm. And then
Because
I would have been so disappointed.
They did a really good job on the pictures.
It should be a crime. That should be a crime to
It's so bad.
to do that on real estate photography.
It should, because
there has to be a
so
standard.
deceiving. Yeah, and that when people go look at it, they're so disappointed that it's almost like a turnoff, and they don't want to buy it anyway. Like, make it look the way it looks.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the whole house got a boob job. That's what it was. That's what it was.
Huge. Yeah.
Yeah, a boob, bud.
Yeah,
the waist
all of it.
The waist got photoshopped in. And they suck in the waist.
And then like they got some thigh gap going.
Yeah, they got a thigh gap. Like it's all about like
Yeah.
using the right Photoshop tools.
Get the wrinkles out of there.
Oh
all of
my
it.
goodness, it was the worst.
It was funny. It was kind of funny though to see after I had already going to the house and seeing it, looking at the photos and being like, "Wow, that is not what that room looks like."
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. So lesson learned. If you guys don't ever trust the pictures. Don't even get too excited about pictures.
Yes. Go see it.
Go into it a
Always.
little disappointed. Be like, all right, let's see if it's really that grand, and go from there.
Because it's one thing, like you can obviously use a wide angle lens on even the backyard, make it look bigger. But in reality, like a lot of times the actual property, the way it's photographed is the way it looks.
Well, we're using a wide angle lens on this video here for
I know, and I'm always the one being very wide in this wide angle lens.
No, you're not.
Oh yeah, what are you talking about? Yeah, you look great.
But then when they see you in person, like you're so skinny.
Wow, you're so much.
I always thought you were
smaller than I thought.
You're so skinny.
I don't know if it's the way my chair is, but I'm like always on the end, and it's always like
it's the edges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you, for some reason, I don't know.
My legs look ginormous.
The camera hits you just right.
No, my legs look ginormous. Like every time I squat like this looks like 90% of my body, and then like there's a small torso.
Like what is wrong
I
with
think
his
we'll have
legs?
to stop using wide angle lens and just use a normal,
regular one.
Normal, yeah.
Yeah.
But that being a conversation that you and I had, because I had to split with the kids to take them to class, and you kind of called me and we kind of recapped on the house, and
I wanted to see. Because I mean, obviously we're not gonna like hash out what we think in front of the realtor.
This house sucks. What do you think?
Yeah. And then it's funny because I called you and then I called my mom.
Yeah.
Afterwards, and it was like, because she came with us to go see the house. They wanted to see, and we were all kind of on the same page, which was like really reassuring that it wasn't being like too high maintenance.
The house. Yeah, no.
The funny thing was my mom was like
more optimistic.
Well, I think she would have done. She just was like, she just seemed, because usually she's more opinionated, but this time she was like, Oh, but she was on board with us. She, another house will come up.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. At least it was nice to get our first one, kind of
pop your cherry.
Pop my cherry, our cherry. And kind of, I did like that we both now have like, I wouldn't say like a standard, but we both know what we want in terms of, like you said, the bones of the house. Why are you smirking?
Because you keep staring at the monitor.
Oh, that's why you're smirking?
No, I completely agree that we have a standard. I think this is a great topic of discussion of like what's it like working with your spouse, because I mean, I've helped you on plenty of your staging jobs.
Yes.
Whether it's to come haul the trailer, to help move things in and out,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes even both start to finish. And so this was another opportunity for us to have a conversation about how, this potential next project together would be. And what are your thoughts how do you feel about working with me? Because I'm not the best sport sometimes when it comes to working with you. Would you agree that? Would you
Sometimes it depends.
Do you notice it? Do you notice?
I notice when you're not happy about helping me.
Yeah.
Of course, because
Yeah.
you are usually very chipper, outgoing, in a good mood most
Goofy,
days,
yes.
goofy, and then when you're just kind of quiet.
Yeah.
And you're never like mean or like short. You're just quiet, reserved. And that's when I know you're not happy about helping me.
Yeah.
Because there's been times where you're fine. Like if I tell you ahead of time,
Yeah.
or if you don't have a ton going on that day, you're fine. But if there's ever a time where I'm like, I need you, or if it's last minute, or if it's something went wrong,
Yeah.
which happens a lot.
The old, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I'll
okay,
do it.
I guess I have to do what nobody wants to do.
Well, in like prime example, last week, we needed to get a bed out, and we got
like dinner time. It was like dinner
right
time.
at dinner. I was making dinner.
Yeah.
Let's just preface with that.
You're a mother.
I
get
was
it.
making
You're a
dinner.
mother. Yeah.
So I had my movers go get it was just a bed and like a nightstand. The mattress wasn't even on the bed, so I had him go get it.
Because it was a job that was done already.
Yeah, so it was a job that was done, and they just couldn't
De-staged.
fit that bed into the trailer, and so they had to come back, and it needed to be out because the house was closing. So we had to go disassemble it, and I gave him the tool to disassemble the bed, but apparently that tool was not the right one because it was an Allen key, and
well, you don't have to explain that part. Yeah,
anyway,
it's just the wrong tool.
It just didn't work.
Yeah.
And in this particular situation, I was making dinner, so I told you, I don't know what to do. He doesn't have the right tool. And I just didn't know what to do. And so I was like, you're like, I remember, and you just looked at me like, what are you going to do? And I said, I'll just do it tomorrow. And you're like, well, you can't, because the house needs to be, that bed needs to be out. You just said it,
yeah. You just said there's no option today.
Yeah.
You have to be out.
I mean, technically I could have done it that next morning, but who knows? What if they would have come that evening and were like, why is this bed here? And so I hate to be in that position where somebody is not happy with me, especially when it comes to work, being professional.
Yeah.
That was
You're talking about a client.
A client. That was very unprofessional of us leaving.
Which is right.
There.
I think you're absolutely right to do that. That's a good standard to have.
Yeah. And so at that point you said, I'll go give him the tool. And
well, I said, I think you're giving me the benefit of the doubt. I think I was a little bit more rude about it. I said, fine, I guess I'll go give him
I'll go get him the tool. Yeah. Maybe you said
because I was pissed.
But I would have gone, but it's like, you saw I was already making dinner.
Yes.
Which
I was pissed because I was already
back.
Yeah. Blessing.
After a long day, I was making dinner.
I was slaving. I was not slaving away. I was racing. Well, I was racing trying to get the job done that I was doing for the day and wrapping that project. And I was racing trying to beat the sunlight to get the final footage after all the building was done. And then now I'm finally wrapped up, and 3 of my fingers are bleeding because I cut myself on the glass.
Yeah.
And so they're all bandaged up, and here I'm trying to race against the clock before the sun goes away. Then I can't record. And finally got everything done. And finally I'm like, oh, okay, I got everything that I needed to get done. And I'm coming into the house, and you're telling me here's this problem. And it's like when you hit me with I don't know what to do, and this needs to be done right now. And I'm already exhausted because I just worked 10 hours that day. And all I want to do is just take a shower and just like unwind. And now I have to go and do this thing. Sometimes I think I get pissed off and irritated of the lack of, and this is not a knock on you. I guess I'm just sharing like how I feel about it is like when I see the lack of planning or organization to me, like that puts a really sour taste in my mouth that I'm just kind of like, okay, well, I guess I'm damage control now, or I'm on damage control. So like in that prime situation, it was like, okay, so the way I was thinking, I was like, you gave a person one specific tool, because the tool that they needed was in your tool bag, your work tool bag.
So yeah, and I could have just given him the tool bag, but I gave him the Allen key with a bunch of different ones. So I thought in my head, I was like, if he has all these sizes, so if anything will work, I didn't think about that he couldn't use it because the angle didn't fit into it. So it was the right key, it was the right tool.
But then what if that Allen key was stripped and he needed another tool to get that thing out? Like, the way I kind of look at things, and this is I don't want to knock on you too much for this particular example, because I think it was a big lesson learned for you, and that lesson I think is you don't just take one tool for a thing. That's why I don't do, and like that's why I don't do jobs for people when everybody asks me is like, hey, can you come build at my house? It's because my shop is in my garage.
Right.
And
do you have to bring stuff somewhere?
Of course.
Yeah.
But even like, it's like, so like I have toolboxes, right? I'll bring the general tools, but there's always going to be that one thing when something goes wrong. It's like, well, I have to now like the bolt stripped. So like, how am I going to take that off now? I need pliers. Well, I didn't bring pliers.
Yeah.
And so it was like kind of like a same thing with you here is like.
Which like, yeah, you would have never even thought. And it was like, oh yeah, so that's the bed that I was like, I remember even like texting him, can you just like try to use your hands to unscrew the bolt?
Yeah, it's tight. No, it was tight.
It was tight. Yeah.
But like, it's like a prime example of like, just you can never get the right tool. Just get the tools with you, and then if it calls for another tool, then that's plan C, you know. But like the sour taste that I was having in my mouth, like when I'll go like helping you stage or go to your storage, whatever, like if I see like as soon as the storage opens up and there's like no organization or something like that, or at least in my eyes there's no organization, maybe you see like you have a system in place, like, and seeing that you have to take out a bunch of items out first before you get to these other items, to me, I'm like, come on, really? Like, you know what I mean? Like seeing a chair that's still wobbly. So I'm like, and I'm on your case about screwing it up together, like tightening it.
Don't you? I get it because I'm the same, but I don't have the time to even think about that at that time. So when my problem is when I'm destaging, they just take, and I mean, obviously now we have like movers with a trailer.
Yeah.
But when they put everything in the trailer, they're just taking it all out and putting it into one storage unit because I have only a certain amount of storage units, right? And so, and a lot of times they just stick things wherever. And at that time, like I'm so tired just from like destaging, and a lot of times they'll do it themselves, and I'll leave, and so I don't even know where it's being put.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, wouldn't you say when you are working and you are like super slammed and don't have a ton of time, your shop doesn't look the way you want it? But then you take a day and you go and like do it. Yeah. And I will try to do that, but I think that's where I need to like figure out a better system of. And maybe it will be a lot easier if I had a giant storage where I can. Nope.
It's the whole laundry room scenario where a bigger laundry room is just more stuff that can pile up.
But at least then it's like all together. And
if it's in one room, you could say my couches go here.
Yes, well, that's what I'm saying. Okay, not giant, whatever. But if it's all in one space, I can have, like couches here. But
what's the reality of that?
But they're,
like of you having that space, like of you having a big warehouse.
They're
unlikely,
slim,
right?
very slim. Yeah.
The only thing is like if our property has a potential of 2 shops there, like, you know, one.
The thing is with staging, it will never be this like, oh, I have this house here or this house here. Yeah. You either do it by couches here, tables here. I think that's probably the most successful system because 99% of the houses I've done, when I take a house from one house to another, it never works. I always have to grab something, take something out. Something doesn't work. And it's the same when I take stuff from storage. Like, I could go look at the house and I can grab the stuff I need, and I will always need something extra.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
And so that's why I feel like with storage, for some reason, I just don't like having storage units. I feel like one space would be somehow more effective.
I will say, I think it's the very first time you've explained it this way.
Yeah.
And I think I understand it a little bit better because, and it'd be probably one thing if you had, let's say, 5 storage units that were all in a row, and you say storage 1 has couches, storage 2
but they're not all together.
Has beds, 3 has tables and chairs, and 5 has accessories. So that makes more sense. You seem like you know where things are.
I do. I know where everything is.
Sure.
I know everything that I have. It's just a matter of I have to take a day. I probably have to take like a week if I wanted to like organize it by couches here, couches, armchairs. But even then, I feel like it wouldn't be as effective because you have to stack couches. And so I would still have to go to the back of the storage unit and get a specific one that I need, so like how would you even organize couches in a way where you can access them super easily?
Well, because even in the warehouse, when we went to your friend's very impressive warehouse that had, I mean, it looked like a Costco with like all furniture stacked up everywhere. It's still, I think that's just Beckham.
Probably.
It's still going to be some maneuvering that happens.
It is.
I just think there is systems that you could put in place, like for example, a few of your storage units are in a row. So if you just
or
did
close,
that,
they're not. They're just close.
You said, hey guys, to your movers, this piece and that piece kind of articles of furniture goes in this. So tables and coffee tables and chairs go in this one, and couches and beds go in this one, and this one is accessories. It could improve, but then at the same time, you do need to have some time where you're making sure like
everything.
Well, like I even told your guys,
place.
I was like, they were talking about screws and bolts for these beds, and I said, hey, listen, from now on, I'll have Irina grab Ziploc baggies. I want you guys to tape them to the back of the headboard. That way you'll never miss it. Because I helped you move one of the beds, and it was missing like 5 of the bolts and like 3 of the legs on it, or 2 of the legs. And I'm like, what is this? Yeah. And to me, that was like an irritating factor.
A lot of times, like sometimes I'll even text them and be like, where are the bolts to here? Like they don't tell me.
But these are systems you have to create for them.
Exactly, yeah. So having them in like the...
And they're responsible for it, because then you can come to them and be like, hey guys, we established a system. Yeah. Where is it? We established a system that couches go in this unit. Why are they not there? And this is maybe me speaking too much about being like an organization control freak.
Organization makes it effective.
Makes me hard. You know that. Organization makes
cleanliness
me hard.
and organization.
Makes me hard.
That's the next shirt.
Do you know how many people told us like, please make cleanliness makes me hard?
You said that last time, yeah.
A lot of people.
Okay, so now, but I feel like organization would make you harder.
We voted today. That's another thing. We did early voting, and I said something. You were like, "This is so exciting. We voted," and I was like, "Does a voting turn you on?" And then you said something about voter boner. So that voter boner will be our next.
That's
our
a good
next
one
merch.
too.
Yeah, voter boner and cleanliness makes you hard.
Voter boner.
It might get people out and voting early. Yeah. I don't know.
Early voter boner.
Early voting, morning voter boner.
Oh yes, exactly.
Yeah, well, just whatever gets people to the polls.
It's true.
That's
people vote.
So that was my thing. I think that's where my sourness comes from.
Do you feel like you're the like last stop before things? So like, if you don't do it.
It doesn't,
nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah. I'm
trying to how do I explain that better?
Are you the last resort?
Last resort, exactly.
Yes,
so
I do feel that. I do feel
that's why I think you ultimately end up doing whatever needs to be done.
Correct,
because you are the last resort.
Because then it doesn't get done. And we spoke about this before, and I think we spoke about this from a long time ago when you and I had issues figuring out the budget in our family when we first got married. And
there's a bug on the light.
Yeah. My life is in danger.
Hello, Henry.
I used to tell you that like what I here's the system in place, and if we can't follow the system, then there's no money. Then I feel like you look to me and the kids and you look to me and be like, we don't have money. What do we do? And then now it's too late, right?
Yeah.
And so I think the whole.
Well, that's why I think I go to you when I don't know the answer to what I need or I feel like I'm have no solution is because I know you'll always come up with something, because it's almost like I feel the same way. Like you're the last resort. Like you'll always think of something.
And that's cool to hear. Like there's a huge part of me like kind of takes pride in that. Be like, yes, they trust me. They depend on me.
But that's hard. That's a hard position to be in.
It's sometimes it's not that. Sometimes it's more exhausting.
Yeah.
When it's a full day's worth of work and you were just done, running after your own hurdles, and you're done now, and you're like, finally, and somebody's like, no, you're not done, and then they say, well, I don't know what to do. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Like versus like, like these last 3 days I'm off, and you told me, hey, I don't know what to do. So like I now have the brain space that I go, okay.
But that's never how it is. It's always on a day where
it's
you're
always
like,
where
yes,
the house is on fire,
yes,
the kids are on, the clothes are on fire, and you're riding a bike with no seat, no handlebars.
I never need help when you have days off. Never. It doesn't ever work that way.
Oh my god.
Well, that's why like I think I'm more aware of it, and that's why I try not to only say that to you when it's like kind of like a not life or death, but like in the business world, life or death emergency. Like in that situation, I knew that bed had to be out, and so I knew like I just needed your input. But for the like now, I think in the last, at least since you've been so busy, I've tried to be more aware of it and do as much as I can myself, unless it's like something super heavy I can't carry and the movers are not available and I need it out that day, and then I'll come to you and be like, hey, do I like, prime example, the whole trailer thing, when I just staged a house in Baker City, and it initially,
which is a 2-hour drive,
about 2-hour drive. It's in Oregon.
100 miles? Was that was?
It's about 100. I want to say like maybe like 110, 120. And initially my movers were gonna come, but then they
couldn't
because I didn't want to. So initially I had thought maybe like the movers could come in the morning and drop off, and then I could stay there, and then school started, and on top of that, my clients needed it done on a weekday, and my movers can only do weekends if it's morning because they are in school.
Yeah.
So I was kind of put in this spot of like, I don't know what to do. I can like hire movers, which will cost me a lot of money, or I can try to
get a crash course on figuring out how to drive
super
a trailer.
quick crash course and just do it myself. But honestly, if it came down to it, I would have had the movers move on an afternoon, bring the furniture there, drop it off, and then I would have come the next day. I would just had to have paid a lot more.
Sure. And
I would have been there like 2 days in a row.
Right. Yeah.
Which would have taken up a lot of time.
And instead you did what?
And instead I asked you, I texted you and said, do you think I could pull the trailer by myself on the freeway? I
was in a grouchy mood already. I was like, not with that.
You said
practice.
Yeah. You said, nope, not without practice. And then I said, okay.
And it wasn't to like not empower you, because like you can't do anything, but you got to practice driving.
I had never
a 25-foot long cargo
trailer. I had
trailer.
never even done anything. I've never even like pulled it 5 feet.
You never pulled up even a jet ski.
Exactly. So yeah, and I just needed to know like what you thought and if you believed I could do it. And that was like a go ahead for me, because even though you didn't say no, you said not without practice. That was more like, okay, I'm gonna practice.
Yeah.
And so we did a little crash course like 2 days before.
Yeah. And I even texted you right after I said that. I said, and also not practice the day of.
Yeah.
And when you texted me that, I think, because it is my truck. Well, it's our truck, but it's my personal truck.
It's your truck. Yeah. I just borrow it.
Sure. And I baby it very much. Right.
Yes,
and then,
you love it.
Right. But then this is also a 25-foot long cargo trailer. It's basically a big camper that there's guys that I don't even trust to drive it. You know what I mean? Because it's, unless you've driven big things, like you have to kind of get a feel for it.
I've driven a big thing.
Hey yo.
Hey yo.
But when you said that, the way I kind of read it was like almost you expecting me to say no, and then
I
me
kind
going,
of did expect you to say no.
and then you go like, so me going, I go, okay, well I'm the last resort.
I have to do it. Yeah.
I have to do this, but I was so like, it was my first day off after getting everything done, and I was just like kind of. You also people have to understand is like after I finish a project, I'm always trying to race it to get it done,
right?
Built, shot, sent to my editor, have it approved, then put up because there's a schedule that I have to stick by with all the brands for the year. And you know, I realized that I need a few days off after it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because I feel like I got hit by a truck. You know what I mean? I'm irritable. I'm pissed off. Yeah. Like. Because I work nonstop. I work 12-hour days. I work, you know, well now a little bit less because I only sleep 3 hours a night because of Harper. But
love you so much, girl.
I love you so much. Blessings. And so there's a lot of mental health that needs to be that I have to do to like recuperate. And so
you have to recover.
Today was day 3 for me of off, and today was the first day I actually feel like myself again.
Yeah, that's how long it takes.
Oh, this was hard, you know. And now tomorrow I have to crash course. Like I'm not working tomorrow, but tomorrow I have to be like, okay. So tomorrow I have to figure out what my video is for Monday is because, you know, the brand, I promise I'll do this, but I don't have a project in mind. So it's just, it gets complicated from the mental health aspect of it. And so when I get this text message, I was like more of a like, you can't do it without practice. And then by
I'm surprised you just didn't say like, no, you can't do it.
But then if I said no, then I would have had to do it.
Yeah, that's true.
I would rather have you going, okay, then I need to put on my big girl pants and figure this out. And that's learning a trailer. Like I think everybody should learn how to drive a trailer. And knowing,
absolutely.
And knowing
after I drove it, now I'm like, I want to learn more. And
yeah, you're like, I want to learn how to back it up and stuff like that.
Exactly. I want to be able to pull it from a job to another job.
Yes. And I think that point, and I told
in
you,
the city,
we went out for dinner, and I told you, I was like, I was very proud of you after we practiced. I told you, I was like, I was very proud of you that, first of all, you did great practicing, right? Because like you're not clumsy. Like you're just, when you're not attentive, like you get clumsy. You know what I mean? But when you're attentive,
if I am trying,
yes, you're very good.
I have to be.
You're very good. And everything I gave you, you excelled quickly with the trailer, and you did great, and your confidence was there, which is more important to me. But when we were to dinner, I told you, I was like, I'm more proud of you, the fact that you saw that there's a problem and it's up to you to find that solution.
Right.
And it's up to you to come to me and tell me what you need from me, of going like, I need you on Saturday. Can you teach me on Saturday how to drive a Polo trailer, like the basics? That to me is like, I just know I need to show up and I give this and then thing, and then we're done.
Yeah, it was like
same thing with your movers. When your movers used to drive my truck in a trailer, they'd be like, hey, when can I come pick it up? I go, no, I need you to tell me when you guys need it. I need you to crunch the math of how long it takes you to come get it and come to the job site that Irina told you to meet you at. So if the number is 3, then tell me, hey, I'm going to need your truck at 3. Tell me that at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'll make sure you have it at 3.
Right.
You know? And so that was the same thing there. Like that was like you going, I'm doing all the thinking, all the hard work. I just need this from you, and then I'll figure out the rest. And it was it was successful. And so now I saw how well you did, and I saw the confidence that you drove this thing round trip 240 miles. I'm like, okay, cool. How about we start teaching you how to back this thing up, which is the hardest part of pulling any trailer. And then after that, you're unstoppable. After that, you're going to actually be more productive and save a ton of money on your movers because
I can do it myself.
You don't have to pay your movers to go park it and bring it back and whatever.
Yeah.
You can just,
that's like an extra hour or maybe 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have to buy another vehicle because now you have my truck.
Right.
Your mover has my truck. You have your car, and now I don't have a car to go pick up the kids from school or to do my work.
Yeah.
And so that just saved us money on buying another third car.
It gave me a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
Taking it somewhere and bringing it back. So now I feel like, okay, what's the next thing I can do to make myself more productive?
Yeah.
But I did feel that same way. I wanted to know if you believed I could do it, and then you're kind of like, because you didn't say no, you just said not without practice, and that gave me like the go ahead, like, okay, if I just practice, I can do it. I know I can do it. Yeah. And then that was like a prime example of me figuring out a way not to make you my problem solver, but try to like do it myself, because I'm more aware of it. I know that I come to you because you're the last resort, and I know that you'll figure something out if I can't.
And honestly, if I didn't have my own business to run and my own schedule to attain to, I would have no problem. I would have probably more of that. Oh, these
She
people,
needs me.
these group of people depend on me. Like,
But you're busy.
but I don't,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm saying this the right way, but like, there's people who like, their sole identity in life is like, I'm a father or I'm a mother or I'm a whatever.
They like need that people to
They
depend
need people
on
to
them.
depend on them. They need somebody to make lunch for them, and you're that person kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so I don't need people to depend on me. I want to take care of people, and I want to take care of my family. But if taking care of them is also a financial way I have to do it, which is running my business, it becomes
super
very
important,
difficult to take
yes.
care of them with
Yeah.
more things while I'm
Yeah.
trying to take care of them this other way. So I was really proud of you, and the fact that you kind of opened up about it like that when you said the fact that I said that not without practice, it made me realize how much value those words have when you instead of just saying no, you can't do it.
You can't. Yeah.
Because the reality is no, you can't. When somebody says, "Hey,
Do you think
I'm a 5'3¼ girl who barely could back up your truck, and I'm gonna pull a 25-foot cargo trailer." 240 miles. Do you think I can do it? From the shooting from the hip, the hips, you're like, no, you cannot.
Yeah.
As you stand right now, the answer is no.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that it could take somebody's confidence to try
Just
or
those
to
words,
learn or
of
wanting
not saying no.
away. So to me, it's a big eye opener to be careful, to be like, even with our daughter,
How you
like
phrase
even
it,
with our daughter or whatever, like when she grows of age or anything that you ask. Hey,
what's of age?
Do you think? Well, my rule: 14, you're out of the house.
You're fending for yourself, girl.
But to know that there's ways of saying that no, you can't.
Yeah, because if you would have said,
not without
I don't
learning
think you can do it,
or without practice,
that would have shut it down completely.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have never learned how to pull a trailer.
Yeah.
Like, honestly,
No, this
because
is cool.
it just took that kind of hearing from you. And I
Yeah.
knew you were kind of like not in the best mood.
Yeah.
And you were just saying it like not without practice.
Yeah.
And that almost made me like want to prove myself to you.
Yeah. Well, but it's like, it's not like you would have proven to me, be like, watch this, no practice, give me this thing. And then you take out a car through subdivision around the corner.
With me, drag it, and then I'm calling you.
Because you're driving, you're pulling a car with a trailer. Like, I'll show him.
Yeah,
No.
you showed him.
I truly feel anybody can do absolutely anything with practice. They have to be shown how to do it.
Watch this.
Because with driving a trailer, like there's a science behind it. As soon as you learn the science, you're good to go. There's
a lot of
rules.
it is confidence. Yeah, if you just know, like you are careful and you know the rules.
Like I have already, like I started thinking of how to teach you how to back up a trailer, because it's not normally like you
Well,
saw.
we did it a little bit.
I showed
We
you
had a
like
tiny.
when I showed you that lesson was just for you to understand that if you
feel it.
take it to a gas station and you're like, I just need to back up, and you realize, why is this thing not backing up? I just wanted to bring you to a position where there's a problem. I'll be like, this is the problem you'd experience.
If I needed,
And right now, our job is not to learn how to back this thing up, but to just give you some I'll show you how to move it back 5 feet without having this thing jackknife.
but not because to store it where we store it, you have to back it in, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So that's where I want to get to, is be able to drop it off and pick it up myself.
Yeah, and that's really it, and I've actually started thinking about it. I was like, I figured out the science or the technique how to teach you how to back it up. Mm-hmm. Like I already now know to give you the rules of. I bet you in about an hour I could teach you how to back up this trailer now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So
and if that's the hardest part,
backing up a trailer is the hardest part, and everything else after that is just being aware of your turns and stuff like that.
Yeah, and your surroundings, for sure.
Yeah. So
for sure.
That's what it's like working with you, or with me, I guess.
How else? Yeah.
How else? What? How else?
Like, well, like, I feel like we've talked about like the difficult moments of it, but like, are there any cool, fun?
Yeah, like afternoon sex or something like that while the kids are in school.
Afternoon delight.
Yeah, afternoon delight. No. The Minton Pines rule of thumb is we have sex during lunch.
You take me out to lunch?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put out.
Yeah. No, I think it's fun. As long as everything's planned out and everything is going smoothly, I think it's fun seeing, I don't know. It's fun being in a non-traditional schedule together.
I think that's my favorite part is we're at home for
While
the
other
most
people
part.
are in the office.
Yes,
stuff
and
like
we can
that.
go out to lunch. We can sometimes, yeah, when you are helping me or like just quickly moving something, or I'm even helping you stage something, I like just think about, oh, this is so cool. Like we get to do something together. We get to even like passing by, like you're making lunch. I'm
Oh, you're talking about from home, like
from home.
Now, see, I was speaking more of like from the perspective of like being out in the field, like working. Like what I mean in the field is like we got the trailer loaded up. We're going to this place to drop things off because you asked me to help you, for whatever reason.
Oh, I mean like from when we're both at home.
From home, yeah.
Because I mean I'm gone probably more than I am at home, but when I am home, I still come home like for lunch or have to drop something off or whatever it is, or if I am working from home that day, I do love that. Like even in passing, we can just like have a quick conversation or just talk, or sometimes have breakfast together and talk and even in the office.
Yeah, the passing part is, I think, really cool, and I don't know if a lot of people get to experience that. I don't know. I think some people, and I mean, if we can speak of a little bit of like the negativity part, but like not with us, but I feel like I've heard from a lot of people saying, I couldn't imagine working with my spouse.
I've heard that a lot. Yeah.
It's the frustrations of like them arguing a thing about decision making and stuff like that. I would also probably say that the reason why some of the things really work out between me and you is when you see that I'm being a sour face about something and I'm telling you that, hey, you need to have a better system for this involved. I think because your personality is very passive, you don't see it as me attacking you. At least I don't think you see it as me attacking you.
I don't. Yeah.
I think the way you're kind of receiving as like truly like ways to how to improve the productivity of your business for success. And you've done that. Like I remember some bigger conversations where I would say you need to have like a system of process of like, movers and times and deliveries and stuff like that. And once you did that, or inventory, I remember like you need to have inventory to know what you have or what you don't have. And like you turned around, you came back to me like a couple of weeks later with like this inventory, like spreadsheet, like I have this, I have this, I have this other thing. And like, I think all of that improved the process of your businesses. And end of the day, time is money. And like you were able to have it consistent where, everything was all buttoned up. You weren't wasting, more time than you should have and lose money in the long run. So,
right. I think I initially, like, if you ever say something like you need to do this, or like you need to have a better system, like, I think initially I kind of get a little like butthurt because I'm like, no, my system's fine. I don't understand what it is. And then, just like that pride hurts you a little bit of like, you're not doing it effectively, or, it's not working. And then I kind of like have to step back and think about, is he right? Like, there probably is a better way to do this. And then I kind of start evaluating. Yeah. Okay, yeah, he's right. This isn't working. Obviously, if somebody's recognizing that,
I think that's what makes you a good a businesswoman, or business owner, doesn't matter if it's a woman, is because you from my understanding.
Thank you for not gender stereotyping.
Sure, yeah. Well, tell me what pronoun to use and I'll use that pronoun. There's so many, like, I would listen to all these like business books on audio and try to learn from all this stuff and seeing all these examples and my own situations, and it seems like the people who fail are the people who let their ego get in the way, right? Because end of the day, like in our marriage, and we can talk about this later, or maybe we've shared it before, but like we try to believe that we're for one another, not against one another. So whenever something's being said,
we're on the same team.
It's not to insult the person, right? It's to say like, hey, this is what I'm seeing. This needs to improve because then you will be happier and I'll be happier in your process of operations there. And we saw the benefits of it. We saw that these things are truly like important things in the business to have it. And I think whenever you don't allow your ego to come in place, when you go, well, is this the best system in place? And if not, then what can be done? I think you're always forever the student of the game. you know?
Yeah, because then you're always learning
Mhm.
and, learning how to be better and more effective and efficient and everything, which is awesome, for a business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's hard though. I think it is hard because when you do start your own business, it's everything comes back to you.
Mm-hmm.
So if something isn't working, it's on you.
Mhm.
If something is working, it's on you.
You're the only that can
you're
fix
doing
it. End of the
awesome.
day, like
Yeah.
after your people you appointed can't fix it,
It's
it's up to
It
you.
goes back to you, yeah. And then like if it is thriving and doing well, it's also on you. And so you get to like be proud of yourself and like this is what I've accomplished. So it always comes back to you. So it's hard not to let your pride get in the way, but it is like I do have to take a step back a lot of times and just evaluate like
Yeah.
the words that you said, or even if it was somebody else that said them, or I just feel like I'm overwhelmed and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Sometimes it's that too. I have to think about like what
You actually never, and this is interesting, and I think this is very good. You've never come home and felt that you're not good at your job, which is interesting, right? Because I think people, like I just got out of a funk where I was like, I don't know if I share this with you, but like I would imagine people, more so maybe gals, because they kind of are more connected to the things that they create, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
more
Like,
emotional.
more emotional, I guess. I don't know what the right words
Yeah.
are, but like to feel like I don't belong, I can't, succeed at this, or I can't. And I had my moment just, a couple of days ago for the 2 day stretch where I was like, what am I doing? I was like, my videos are performing. Yes, they're good numbers, but they're not growing after that. Like you'd imagine, 70 videos under your belt, 80 videos under your belt, you should have X amount of views, like overall, that should be growing because you're adding. Why is that every video is hitting on average this metric, which is a good metric, but why is that metric not growing considering other people's metrics is, am I really advancing? Am I really growing? Am I really, like who am I kidding? I don't belong. I don't, I'm not working. I'm not being as creative as I need to. And it took me a few days to get out of that space, to look at other people who I find successful and seeing that they're in the same position. They're probably experiencing the same thing. And I finally got out of it. And with you, I don't think you've ever come home and be like, felt like a failure, based off of like not belonging, not being good enough. Like maybe in the very early stages, you were like, oh my gosh, they're not going to rehire me again.
Yeah.
But that's been long gone. Like you don't really do that. If you ever say that, you're more of like, oh, good riddance, because I didn't want to work with them. They were a problem to work with.
Yeah.
But like,
I feel like, I wonder if it's because when it comes to especially staging, I will not leave the house until I'm like 100% satisfied with it. And I wonder if it's a lot to do with that, because
I would say 98%, because there have been times when you said,
that's true.
You said, I was like, how was it? You're like,
There's a couple things
you're
I would
like,
have
I
done.
don't have
yeah.
enough
But
stuff.
at that point,
and then you
it's
come back.
stuff.
And then you
Yeah.
come back.
And bring stuff.
No,
Yeah.
not even that. You said you would come back the next day. And
And then
you'd
be
look
like,
back.
oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And that's another thing. I think it's because I'm so critical of myself in the moment when I'm staging. And then because I know, like, it's almost like I know what I can do and I'm limited by the amount of things that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Oh, 100%.
So it's like I know I could do better. Sometimes when I come to a house, I'm like, oh, I wish I just had this piece of
If
furniture.
resources weren't
Yes,
an
because
issue.
a lot of it is, and that's like that with every business. If we had the resources, all of us could do better.
That is good. Though it's incredible how you said that, because that tells me that your confidence level is like at its peak, and you're just like, just give me the money or give me
And
the
I
things,
could do this.
and I
Yeah.
could do this.
And I do feel, yeah.
Versus the some of the greats in whatever industry they're in, they're more critical of themselves, going like, when people go, this is amazing, they go, it's not good enough.
Yeah.
It's not good enough. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
the greats are the most insecure, but they don't know how to make it better, right? They're not happy with it, but they don't know how to make it better. But you come into it with a level of confidence with like, because the thing about the greats is they're all crazy, right? And the
Yeah.
moments, and I don't consider myself great, but I consider myself good or better than some people, I think. in terms of like content that we create and stuff like that. But it's a competitive nature of mine with them. And I would say that whenever I feel dissatisfied, I kind of remind myself, well, some of the greats were crazy. You know what I mean? And so I think you have the healthiest aspect of being a great, where you're like, no, listen, I'll go toe to toe with this. I just need the thing.
I just need the resources and I could do it. Yeah. And I mean, and I think it's because it's like I know my potential, but that's because I've grown so much. I didn't always have this, obviously. Yeah.
No, yeah, and I've seen you grow through
in the
it.
beginning, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but it's because of the experience behind, under my belt. I think it's a lot of it.
And now the other aspect of it is like, in order for you to keep up with that demand of like, oh, I just need the furniture and the resources, you have to run a business to be so profitable that you have those resources to spend on things.
Exactly.
Right. Because I'll be honest with you. Like I've seen some of the gals that are your competition, and with met them or saw their production or whatever, and it's incredible. But a part of me has to step back and like re-examine and be like, I don't think you're as profitable as things as it may come off to
You're talking about
other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like this seems like too serious of an operation, and there's too much stuff here.
It's almost like you have to be right in the middle. You can't have too much stuff to where it's just sitting around.
It's not making you money.
Because then you're losing money. But you have to have enough to where you can circulate it. It's almost like you have to be in a position where you keep needing more, because that's a good spot to be in. That means the demand is high and you're having to buy these sources. But if you have all this furniture sitting in storage, it's almost like, it's
like being a car rental business where you're like, it's cool if all these cars are rented out, but also if you don't have any more cars, you can't say yes to people, and then people don't want to work with you anymore.
So you want to be in this like sweet spot almost.
100%. Don't be. So no, that's awesome. It's good. It's I think we got a lot out. I think I learned a lot actually from this.
Yeah, good. Well, I like working with you.
Thanks. You've been really a lot better with working with me.
I used to be pretty sour.
You used to be pretty sour, which is actually encouraging, right? Because now I look at it like we're both sour.
We've both been sour.
What was your excuse, not to extend this too long, about being sour to help me?
I think I'm trying to think. Well, like maybe like not giving me enough notice, which we've had the same. Like when it's such a last minute thing, it's like I don't really have the brain capacity to like think about it right now. Or if I've been super busy, then that's the only time I think I've been like kind of sour about it. Or if it takes a lot of physical what is it called, labor, then I feel like I've been the most sour.
A lot of physical labor?
Like when what? I had to help you with like the pavers, I feel like was I a little bit sour then?
Oh, no, but that's like labor work.
That's what I'm saying, physical labor.
Yeah.
That's when I've been kind of sour.
You were sour there, and that was before your business.
No, I was already doing, okay. I feel like those are the times where I've been like the most kind of, I don't want to do it, is because I know how much work it is, like physically.
You hate computer stuff. I
hate computer stuff.
And I didn't know, you never told me that, because when I met you, you were like all about a writer and blah, 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 and this and that thing. And here you are doing these e-designs on the computer.
Well, you know what the thing is? I think once I started my business, I realized this is what I want to do, and I don't want to do the other things.
Well, that's why I think it's good to know what you want and don't want to do.
Yeah, but I just didn't want to like say it.
I did like this last time that we worked together when I got finished with this camper remodel, and I just got done. Like I said, I'm chasing the sunlight, and I told you, hey, can you stage this for me real quick? And you didn't give me sour face. And you're like, got it. And you went and you did it, and you did it super quick. Like I think it took you like less than an hour, and it came out fantastic.
It was like 10 minutes.
Right. It came out fantastic. And not only that you had a great attitude about it and you did a great job, but also on the things that I just kind of said from my own observation, be like, hey, can we flip that, or can you put something else there? You didn't feel like I was criticizing you. You were just like, oh, okay, I got this other thing we could try. Like you didn't take it personal, which I think was very big of you to like not be like, listen, this is what I do. You know, because
listen, you're not right.
Because I have taste and stuff too. I could have criticism. I can't do from blank slate.
I think I've learned that it's not you criticizing my work. It's like
me preferring something.
Exactly. Like, hey, I want to cover that up. Can we put that there? And so I think I've learned. You're not like, hey, that doesn't look good there. It's just like more of like, visually I wanted something.
There's an empty space there. It's been bothering me. Though this thing that you're doing here is fantastic, but that empty space, because I only see things in terms of empty space.
And I think I've learned that along the way, that you're not criticizing my work. It's just you need you've already imagined something and you need, either something covered up or you've seen the space and you're like, hey, like just spatially, I need something else.
Yeah, like I'll tell you something. Like, you're wearing too much clothes right now. Wear less clothes.
Wear less clothes.
Wear less clothes. And I was like,
cleavage.
I see space.
Yes.
I see
space, and there used to be
less space.
Less space.
More
space.
We need more space. We need more
less
space.
Clothes.
Less
more
clothes.
space.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's send these folks up. Hey guys, thanks so much for sticking around. Just listening to our craziness.
The bug is on the wall now.
The bug is on the wall. Hey,
we have a friend, I guess, that apparently likes our podcast.
You call him Henry? Is that what you called him?
Henry. Yeah.
That's nice. It's cute. I'm not paying for him. Hey guys, do us a favor. Make sure on whatever platform you listen to us, especially Apple Podcast, seems like the most popular one. Mm-hmm. Please rate us and review us. Tell the old algorithm that you guys like this stuff, and it'll help us grow. Share it with your friends, most importantly. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.
Bye.